What is up, everybody? I hope you guys are doing fantastically well. I am your host, Mr. Christopher. Welcome to Funkatopia Live election night coverage. This is the pre-show, just so we're clear. I just want to make sure that you guys are familiar with the pre-show. This is kind of where I hang out with you guys and let everybody kind of come in and file in, and we say hello and whatnot. And we're going to have some folks dropping in here, there, and everywhere. Co-host tonight will be Rob Rhythm when he eventually gets in. I thought he would be here by now, but it's okay. It's perfectly fine. Yes, what a week. I can't agree with Electric Vibe more than that. What a week. It has been ridiculous. And of course, tonight, I'm looking at the I've got CNN running up here and looking at their electoral map as it stands. And right now, currently, Donald Trump has 23 electoral votes to Harris's 3. That's not great. And of course, it's looking like Georgia is going to be leaning towards Trump. And if Trump gets Georgia and Florida, then Harris has to get Pennsylvania or she can't win. She won't have enough numbers, which is, okay. I am terrified of this. So let me say hello to all the fine folks. Lisa Metheny. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us. You've been here for quite a while. Keely, what's going on? April from Tampa. Red Cat Uprock. What would Prince think of whilst letting Minneapolis burn in 20? I don't know what that means, but hopefully somebody will kind of expand on that. Kiaria, what's going on from the Twin Cities? What is going on? Jill and PG from Chi-Town. What's up? Milwaukee, Greg, Milwaukee's in the house. Yes, Rob Rhythm, I see you down there. Give me just a minute. Of course we know. Krista, what's going on? Hey, how's doing? Well, Sue, what's going on? Joni, what's going on? Krista from Indiana, Christina from Minneapolis, Arlene, what's going on? Long time no see. You know who I haven't seen in a long time is Cammie. I haven't seen her in a long time. I don't know where is our I don't know. Carrie from Southern California. I hope you are getting, because let me tell you, tonight we could technically we will end before you guys have to stop voting. So there's that. And of course, there's some people that are not going to get the opportunity to vote, like Hoffler from Australia. What's going on, brother? How you doing? And Maisha from North Carolina. Yeah. So let's bring in the co-host of the evening, the one and only Rob Rhythm. What's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going, man?
It's going well, man. It's quite a day already. I mean, it's been quite a 24 hours. Actually.
Yeah. Actually, I spent all day with a list of things going on. We're having Thanksgiving this week. My Ariel, my daughter, is coming down from Chicago where she moved, and so
early Thanksgiving.
That's what's good. That?
I said early Thanksgiving. That's good.
Yeah, early Thanksgiving. So is everything coming through okay? The microphone and everything, we're good.
Yeah, everything's good. What you got on that shirt there? Oh, it just says.
Yeah, remember this from back in the day?
Oh yes, I do. Absolutely. Schoolhouse Rocks. Good. There you go. Rocks. Right there you go.
That's up? Right. America Rocks. This is a shirt I like to wear when I go vote.
Did you just vote today, or did you do the early voting?
No. I voted a few days ago. I voted twice. I voted once in English and once in Spanish. No.
So at least you got to put a check mark in for each one, right? You know?
I've got 3 stickers.
You can easily do that without voting that many times. You can just say, hey, I have one for my kids and one for my wife who says she's going to come, but it's not going to. Yeah, man, it's been a very, very active and it's been an active couple of days. We got a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, as you can see going down here on the scroll, this is the Funkatopia Live pre-show. We're just hanging out, just talking, letting you guys get settled in and whatnot. And the official show will start at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Not that there's going to be anything really amazing, defining moment that happens right at that time. It's just normally this is just kind of loose banter. And then at 8:00, we get right to the schedule as far as like how it's all laid out and whatnot. And here comes a really, go ahead, say what you're going to say. I'm waiting.
Who, me?
Yeah. You were about to say something and I know it's going to be ridiculous. Go ahead.
It's going to be ridiculous. Yeah, it is going to be ridiculous. I was just going to say that this is just us getting our shit together right now. That's what the pre-show is. It's just
that's it. That's it.
Getting our shit together, making sure we can hear each other, making sure we say hello to a few people out there. And
yes. And we will be talking about the news. We'll be talking about the passings of a couple of folks, some birthdays, some other cool little note topics. We'll be talking about the election stuff. We're not going to be staying here until they choose a winner because we have no idea what's going to be happening. But as I was saying,
we'll be here till January.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. As I said, the what's becoming problematic for Kamala's campaign is that it looks like he's about to win Florida and Georgia. Looking at how these points are done, and because of how the points are, if he does win, well, North Carolina, he would have to win. If he wins North Carolina and Florida and Georgia, she has to win Pennsylvania, or it's like it's done deal. And right now, currently, it's 23-3. As you know, you had to get 270, but right now, currently, it's 23-3, with Trump in the lead.
Yeah, but it's it's way too early.
Obviously, it's way too early. It's way too early because, yeah, there it is. Misty-eyed says that's funny because you don't even need an ID to vote in California. Well, you know what? And here's what's crazy. When I was just on a cruise, and everywhere that we went through the security checkpoints, we didn't have to break out ID. Literally, you stopped, it scanned your face, and it knew who you were, and you didn't. And that was the first time I had experienced that, and that was like, I mean, I've experienced facial recognition stuff before, but not as a part of a security process where they don't even need to even verify. It's just like, yeah, we see your face, we know who you are. Like, okay, wow,
creepy.
Yeah, it's very, very creepy. And yes, I will be I will be talking about and of course tonight. Well, before I get to that, we'll also be doing Soundstage tonight, an episode of Soundstage where I'm going to play you not one, not two, but 6 new tracks from artists that you may know, you may not know, a couple that you probably do not know, and a few that you probably do. And we're going to just have some fun and just play some new music and let you guys check out some tracks. And got the election stuff and all the news and whatnot. And I definitely will be speaking on the passing of Taika, because a lot of people had a problem yesterday. I don't even know how to put this. I feel like I should talk about it in the pre-show so I can just cut it out in the main show, you know?
Tika?
Taika. Yeah, so
well, you just said Tika. Is it Tika or Taika?
No, it's Taika. I don't think I said Tika. Anyways, doesn't matter. Again, it's a pre-show. We can cut anything out. I'm going to be honest. I kind of feel some sort of way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I know a lot of people in the purple circle, like a lot. I know a lot of family members. And I know a lot of artists. I know they call me, they text me, they tell me things, they share information with me and whatnot. And yeah, I'll just go ahead and just cover this in the pre-show. I'm just going to just get it out of the way. So when we start at 8:00 hour, I can just cut all this out and just kind of leave it be. So you guys get the benefit of this. And I had people that were really close to the situation inform me about Taika's passing. And I went online and I couldn't find anything. I said, well, I'm not seeing anything about her passing. And they said, yes, I know. We're confirming it to you because you're about to hear about it, that she has passed and it's about to be put out there. And I said, well, you know, I'm a little apprehensive putting that information out there or being the first person to put it out there. I'm apprehensive doing that just because I know how the purple community is. And if I put it out there and they can't verify it through somebody else, they are going to eat me friggin' alive. And they were like, I mean, yeah, that's fine. I said, just let me know when it gets officially released, and then we'll just take it from there. But in the process, I also made some calls and connects of family and whatnot, and said, is this true? Is this confirmed? And I got confirmation. So I got confirmation from friends and family of Taika that it was true. So against my better judgment, I was just like, okay, all right, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'll post it. I'll post it because I know what's gonna happen, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I've got confirmation. I don't know what more I need to say. I posted it, and just like I thought, people were losing their minds and just saying, I'm not seeing this anywhere. I'm Googling. Google says she's still alive, and AI, but it was just this went on for like almost a couple hours before the family finally started to come out and announce it. And then they put it on Taika's Facebook page, and they were just, it was just an attack. And I was just like, I just knew this was going to happen. And I think the reason why I felt some sort of way is because I was like, I've never lied to anybody. I've never put out false information. It would be one thing if I was a website or a podcaster or something that was just always just throwing bull crap out there and I couldn't be trusted because you never knew. I think that's the part that agitated me the most, really, to be totally honest. I just kind of felt like, dude, what have I done? What have I done to people to kind of get this, to get that reaction? And of course, you know what you did. Yeah, you know what you did. You know what you did. I just kind of felt like, dang, man. It's just like, it's not like I'm untrustworthy person, and nothing I say can be trusted. And I would never, ever, ever. I would never think about putting something like that out there, that serious out there, unless I went through a process and go bam, 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 bam. Because let me tell you this, it's just, I don't know. I felt some sort of way. So there was that. And, but needless to say, we're going to talk about it in the news, but I'm not going to address that particular portion of it. I'm just not going to address that particular portion of it.
I don't think you should address that particular portion of it.
In the actual show that started 1 minute ago.
That started now? Yeah.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all right. I kind of feel like I need to communicate with the Funkatopians out there and just say, look, I would never, ever put information out there that, especially stuff that's serious like that is not true. I will tell you that I wrestle with Facebook on a regular basis on a couple of things. First off, it seems to believe, and this is not just Facebook, but it happens on Twitter and everything else, that spell check, that their spell check knows way better than me on a lot of different things. If it was a normal word, I get it. But stop changing my tay to maybe. That's not what I friggin' meant. Stop changing all these friggin' words and it does it all the time. And if I don't constantly watch it and constantly look at it, and then after I write something, go back and constantly review it, it makes decisions about itself all the time. And on top of that, you go to tag somebody and it tags somebody else with the same name. And it's like, you can't even really double check to see who you're tagging sometimes, unless you're on the desktop version. And sometimes I'm always on the move. Yeah. So every now and then those little wonky things will happen, like a misspelling or something like that. But a serious announcement like that, guys, give me a little bit of credit. Please give me a little bit of credit. So it doesn't change the fact it's horrible that Prince's sister has passed, Taika Nelson. So we're going to talk about that. Matter of fact, let's pause just for a second. Pause just for a second. And we're going to pretend like we're going into the live show right now. Ready? Here we go. Welcome to Funkatopia Live. I'm your host, Mr. Chris. Rob Rhythm, what's up, man?
Hey, welcome to the show. We weren't talking about anything.
We weren't talking about anything at all. And if you wanted to know what we were talking about and you're so damn curious, you should have been here for the pre-show. Thank you. All right, move on.
There you go.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's a big night tonight. It's a big night tonight. It's obviously the electoral night. The electoral map is already, they're already changing states over right now, currently right now.
None of it means anything yet.
Not that it means anything yet. It does not mean anything yet, but it's official that Trump has won Georgia. Right now, currently on the electoral map, it's Trump 90 and Harris 27. But again, it's still too early. I'm still.
I think it depends on where you look at it. I'm not seeing that they called Georgia yet.
They literally just called it here on the CNN electoral map. So, and I have it. I'll pull it up here. I'll share the electoral map every now and then. But anyways, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. Not just the election. Obviously, it's just the election itself is like a really fine balancing act. Arlene says she's seeing 95-35 is what she's seeing right now. So there must be like some stuff that's going on. Did I pause this? And
that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing too. Yeah.
95-35.
Yep.
All right. So that's.
But don't believe me. I mean, I didn't go out there and say Tyka died. So.
Oh, wait, I got to take down the scroll. The scroll says it's the pre-show. It's not the pre-show anymore. Now we're in the regular show, and this we got to make sure we say this. Funkatopia Live is not endorsed or affiliated with Prince, Paisley Park, or the Prince Estate. All commentary here is just us talking. Go ahead and get that little diatribe out of the way. That little footnote. Again, not endorsed, not affiliated.
You do that every time now.
But I should do that every single time because I feel like people kind of feel some sort of way. Anyways, it's just it is what it is. Welcome, one and all. We're gonna let's go ahead and just start off because we could break into the news, but I have a special guest that's already in the green room right now.
Woo!
I mean, I love her dearly. We had her on the show. Gosh, it's been at least a couple months now. And she's a good friend of the show. We're not going to do the soundstage part yet because she sent me a track that she's working, that she's, I guess, released now. It's called Party Now, Play Later, or Pay Later. And we will actually play a clip of that when we get to the soundstage part of it. But I don't want her to have to sit in the green room the whole time because I know she wants to talk and brag about something. Ladies and gentlemen, Sheila Brody head from Brides of Funkenstein is in the house. What is going on, girl?
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. What's doing?
First, I want to thank you and your platform for creating. I mean, you created a possibility that wasn't a possibility. Dawn and we made our peace.
Dawn Silva.
As a result of your show.
Okay.
And Dozo sent me my book after 20-something years. So your show is pretty major. I think I had to thank you for that and tell the world that that was major. That was like amazing. And I want to thank you for it. And wow, what a blessing. For
those that didn't tune in, give them a little bit of a history about what this book is and where it came
on the last show. I had given Ronald Stozo, a sketchbook that George had given me, and because he was going to give it to George and they were going to possibly collaborate on the book. So because he's my best friend, I gave him the book. I trusted him. And then I didn't see the book for like 20-something years. And I asked him about it one time and he said, "What book?" So that made me a little nervous. I'm like, okay, what does that mean exactly? Does he have selective amnesia or I don't know? But I still love him. And so when I was on your show, I said, okay, Stozo, everybody's going to know that's my book. So if it surfaces and you have it, they're going to know it's mine. So you might as well give it back. And he actually sent it back. I'm like in shock. And then Dawn, we had an ongoing beef for whatever reason. I don't know. But anyway, that's been basically
And the beef that she's referring to is a lot of the not some other stuff too, but she has this Dawn Silva, Brides of Funkenstein, has this massive encyclopedic
Yes.
called The Funk Queen, and it is filled with stories and photos, and it's amazing.
Yes.
But
I didn't know how many. I didn't know, and I said on your show, Dawn, I was your bandmate. Can I get a book? So she sent me a book. So I am like, I'm amazed, and I'm feeling really blessed right now. And thank you, and thankful to you and your show and what you offer. And I guess you've heard that. Well, George Clinton. I heard that Eddie Murphy is going to play him. Actually, it's official in a movie, right? So my mom, who loves George, I told her, and she was like, so is George putting you in the movie? I'm like, whoa, I don't know, Mom, but I'll let him know I'm available. So because he told her he would always take care of me and look out for me. And she took that to heart. Like, she thinks that's forever, not just like when I was on the road and I was a kid, but now, still, can you still look out for her? So I thought that was really cute. I just told her, like, my husband came down and said, hey, I said, yeah, Eddie Murphy's going to play George, Mom. And she's like, oh, that's cool. Like, for what? And I told her it was a movie he was doing. And she said, well, are you going to be in the movie? So, anything could happen. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on my and you gave me the idea for my book title.
Yes.
You said journey. I said the extraordinary journey to the mothership, dancing in heels across the galaxies. Now that's perfect. Thank you. I don't know, but Christopher, you're an amazing man. And I just want to give you so many props and tell you how much we appreciate what you do. You are a great person. Your platform is incredible, and I will always be supportive. And whatever you need me for, I am there for you. Just let me know.
Thank you so much. I can't tell you how much that means to you. It means to me. But it is. It's an honor coming from you. I mean, one of the original Brides of Funkenstein is giving me props. Like, I can't even. That's just give me a break. That's.
Do people know that you can sing? Do people know that you can sing really well, Christopher?
I don't know. I don't know. Rob knows. Rob.
I was gonna say, wait, counterpoint. Let me tell you what Chris is really like.
Okay. Tell me, Rob. Tell me, please.
No. We've been back 30, 40 years ago.
Wow. You've been friends for a while, and you have that good. That's good to have a person like that in your life, for
Since
sure.
high school. Yeah. Yeah, no, he can definitely sing. I mean, we were singing Mozart together in high school. So yeah.
Mozart? Are you serious?
Oh yeah.
Requiem.
Okay. He was in the tenor section. I was up in the baritone section.
So can you guys give me a little sample?
Not of Requiem. Not of Mozart's Requiem. Like that.
Yeah.
I was listening to that. I happened to hear Mozart's Requiem. I was going on Spotify, and I happened to sing. I was like, dang, we had to do that. It's surprising how much you actually tuck away and remember of stuff.
Yes.
It's like, wow, this is like bizarre. But the election, did you get an opportunity to vote, Sheila?
Oh my God, yes. My husband is a veteran, so he's like, I'm going on the day of, so I can put my ballot in that machine myself personally. So I'm like, okay, I will do that. So I took my mom. I didn't know if she couldn't really. She's having trouble walking sometimes. So they took her vote curbside. They came out. I gave her the license. I went in. They filled everything. She signed it in front of them. Gave her ballot, she filled it out, and then they took it curbside. It was amazing. My mother voted. I'm so happy because I didn't get her absentee ballot. I don't know what happened, and we were there today. I took her to the doctor today, so she happened to be in the car. So I'm like, I'm getting her vote in there. So we did. We all voted. Yes, we did.
That's fantastic. I don't think I've heard about the curbs. I've heard of the mail-in votes, but I don't think I've heard about the curbside stuff.
Curbside. Like, a person can't get, if they can't get out of the car, if they have problems walking, or if they're handicapped, disabled, they will come to you curbside, and you can do your vote curbside. That's something that people need to know. But it's kind of late now. But that was amazing.
Man.
Next time we have one.
Well, and it was a state that there was a viral clip that was going of some state where some votes were found in the middle of a road or something, like they fell off a truck or something.
I think that was that here? I just heard about that. 200 and something votes.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Somebody was telling
Fell
me
off
about
the truck.
Yeah, they
fell off a truck.
I guess they were transporting some of the
Like stereo equipment.
they were transporting the
Nice
actual
stereo. Yeah, fell off a truck.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
no, they were transporting some of the actual physical votes because you put them into the machine. They were transferring them from one location to the other, but there was like, I guess, those big locked bags sitting in the middle of a road that had fallen off a truck somehow. Anyways, it's going to be crazy. We don't definitely want to create excuses for anybody, but good Lord, this has
what
been.
gets me is the people that I run into. They're like, I don't vote. What? I don't vote. I don't believe in it. I never have. What? I'm really baffled by that. I mean, people suffered for us to be able to vote. People went through a lot. So it's almost like you're just snubbing your nose at those people that they went through all that. And I didn't even know that at one point you had to pay to vote. Did you know that? There was a vote tax. And this lady was saying you had to choose either to feed your children or your family or to vote. So most people chose to feed their family. I had no idea that was one thing that happened as well.
I didn't either. I don't think
now it's free. All we have to do is get up, go there, and do it.
go.
How hard is that? I don't know.
Well,
especially now that it's started to, now that we can actually vote in the mail and vote early. Yeah. I mean, I'm actually really happy that we've gone in that direction. Unfortunately, it took a pandemic to make that happen.
Exactly.
But it is the best thing that could have happened for us as far as people's engagement. Because I mean, I don't know about your ballot, but I mean, my ballot looks like the SAT test. I sat down to take it, and I was like, man, I hope I have enough time for this.
They were like, don't choose more than 18. I'm like, I don't even know. 18? Oh my God. I don't even know 5 of them. Are you serious right now?
Right.
So, are you not supposed to vote if you don't recognize the name? Are you not supposed to vote for that person at all? I mean, is that how that works? I don't know. I don't know.
There's some of them where I'm like, you know what? They're all messed up. I'm saying no.
But unfortunately, you have to choose the lesser of the two evils. If people feel that way, you got to choose. To me, you got to choose somebody. I mean,
that's right.
Oh my God. It's obvious to me who it is, who the choice is, but not so much because my sister voted for the other person. Yeah. And she might be, no, she won't be on here.
Well, Stacy kind of commented on this. The poll tax was something they did during Jim Crow to keep Black people from voting. We've come a long way. Yes.
Is that what that was?
Yes.
Yeah.
Were the Black people the only ones that were taxed, or was everybody taxed?
That sounds right.
Oh my God.
That's a really good question. I'm not sure.
I'm thinking it's everybody. No, it's just the Black people. Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yeah. And I don't know if people know that he was in Project 2025. He's supposed to get rid of amendments 11 through 17, which includes the 14th Amendment, which is the abolishment of slavery. And then I had my friend, he told me that, he said some of his Caucasian friends said, yeah, I think I'm going to buy me some slaves. I'll buy me a few slaves. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I'm like, I can't believe this conversation that they actually said that.
I can't believe that guy in North Carolina, Robinson, was that his name? Said the same thing.
Oh, stop it. Are you serious?
He was running for something. What was his name? David Robinson, I think.
God.
Oh my God.
They called that guy called him the new. He called him the new Martin Luther King, and I was like, no, he's not.
Oh, the Black guy?
It's like that, no.
Guy, right? That guy, Robinson. That guy. Oof.
Yeah.
No, he's far from Martin Luther.
Maisha said she did the research. The votes that had fell out the van happened in Miami. I'm assuming. Is that MI?
Oh, Florida. Typical.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I'm trying to look. I'm still not seeing the 95-35 that you guys saw on this thing. What score are you guys? What's the electoral map looking at now? I guess we can look it up. But while you guys are looking that up, Sheila, you sent me a track. I know we're not in the Soundstage section, but I want to play this play a clip of this track while you're here.
Cool.
This Party Now,
Pay
later.
Yeah.
Who did you do this track for?
I
And
did this track with my ex-husband, Steve Washington, the fearless leader who started the bands Aura and Slave.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That track, he did the
Yeah.
music. He's the music on that track. And I wrote the lyrics.
Okay.
And we did that track years ago. But it just fits what's happening right now. And the way I got it, my friend Brad Kilmer, he went and he found the track. He was going on Discogs and getting like collecting my songs. So he found the track and I forgot about it, but I didn't have a way to get the words. So he actually sent me a link. He got the words off. He got it on a disc or something. And he sent me the link and then I could decipher the words. Did I send you the words? I sent you the words too, right?
I don't know. You did.
Oh my
Not
God.
yet. No,
Okay.
but it's okay.
Okay.
Because what you were referring to, because I think when we were talking on the phone yesterday, you had mentioned, you know, in this world of the P. Diddy
Oh
universe
my
that we're in right now,
Yeah.
that this
It's straight up. I mean, you know, Diddy, I'm sorry, he had a video where he was this, I'm still standing. I don't know. Did you see that video? Did you see that video? I'm just
Like
saying.
Elton John? Like I'm
Yes,
still
he was
standing?
standing up. He was like, I'm still standing. Yeah, yeah. That's before he got arrested. Okay.
Oh,
So
damn.
the funny thing about this track is I say countdown. I say 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I say countdown. I say down for the count. So right now, he's pretty much down for the count. And then I say kryptonite in the track. Something illusions will make you choose that kryptonite. He is, I'm sorry, Puffy, I'm sorry, but you might be kryptonite to people that are in those tapes. I'm just saying, a lot of people are distancing themselves. So it's like he became
At least.
I couldn't believe that we wrote this song and we just barely, I don't even know if we ever put it out. We just wrote it. But it fits right now, not just for what's happening with Diddy, but also all of these people that are experimenting with drug cocktails and dying. You know, I like to do songs for a cause, that are a cause. And right now, I think if I could just stop somebody, like if they just think 1 second, like if I do this, okay, my party, I'm gonna do this. What am I gonna have to pay for how much am I gonna have to pay for this party that I'm doing now later? If they just take a moment and think about what they're doing before they do it, maybe I'll save some lives. I don't know. But it says mental intrusions create false illusions. Her name is Mystery. That girl's a liar. She'll fool you. I mean, it's all about drugs. I mean, that's what it's talking about. Like mental intrusions would be drugs messing with your head, create false illusions. And then I say everything that's done in the dark always comes to light. So,
well, let's listen to a minute clip of this. And this is Party Now, Pay Later. Check it out.
Hey, Chris, before you start, I just want to clarify. I said David Robinson. There is a David Robinson out there. That is not the guy. So his name's Mark Robinson.
Okay.
Okay.
He called himself a black Nazi on Nude Africa.
I know who he is.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about now. Yeah.
We
So I was
all
like,
know.
I didn't want that to go out there and people be like, some guy named Mark,
Yeah.
some guy named David Robinson come after me.
You know it.
All right, let's check out a minute of this song. Eric, check it out.
Oh, how you cherish a life to pleasure. Party now, pay later. Mental intrusions create false illusions. Party now, pay later. Intimate persuasion, shaky relations. Party now, pay later. Now to the choosing, you'll be a losing. Party now, pay later. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Her name is Mystery, filled with desire. Party now, pay later.
Whoa.
Nice. It's a little.
Those words, man. I mean, wow.
Well, it reminds me of like a merge of like Lisa and Cult Jam. I wonder if I take you home meets Debbie Deb. Is like when I hear music. It's got this. That's the vibe.
Yeah.
It's got this.
It did. It reminded me of being in the clubs in the 80s and dancing.
Absolutely.
This would be one to get everybody out on the floor.
Somebody said Michael Jackson. Somebody said it's like it's crazy. But I don't know what we wrote that song, but how does it fit now? That's what I want to know. How does that song fit right now? It's like
nothing much has changed from that period of time, because that's the same way with a lot of Prince songs too. It's like you have these really specific political messages, and nothing has changed as far as, you know, equality and it's everything is just the exact same, just maybe a little bit more accentuated and more easily accessible.
I just, you know, it just blew my mind that how everything came into place. My friend bought the record. I heard it. I'm like, wow, I remember that record. And he was like, then I said, I don't know the words. So then he makes it possible so I can write all the words down. He did that. And I'm like, and then this thing happened with Puffy. And I was like, uh-oh. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, it's just directly, I just can't believe it, because that's exactly what they did. They partied. Now they're gonna pay. I mean, it's like, I don't know.
They did more than party. They
so if anybody wants to pick up,
people wouldn't be going to jail.
I know it's up. They partied a lot. Okay, it was over partying.
They went over the party line.
Yeah, over the party lines, and now it's like, okay, so how do you pay for that? That's a good question. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm gonna put it out again. I'm working on that right now.
Okay, that was the next question.
You know, yeah, they can contact. They can look at keep up with my Everything Sheila, Facebook, and then I have my Sheila Brody Amuka Facebook. So I have two, and I'm on TikTok and Instagram. So yeah, it's coming out, and Christopher, it's coming out. And thank you for. Yeah.
Do better. Of course, I'll help you promote whatever you got coming out, Sheila.
It's awesome. You helped me get my books back. I'm like, whoa. I mean, you got me a book from Dawn and Stozo sent me my book. I'm like amazed. Wow. Well, the power. You're powerful.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I hope that's true.
It is true. It's absolutely true. I mean, it's right. Look, the proof is in the pudding, and I'm telling you, I'm amazed. I'm sitting here like tickled pink that these things happened after your after my interview with you guys on Funkatopia. So I'm very supportive of you guys, and like I said, whatever you need, because you changed my life. You literally changed my life.
Oh, thank you, Sheila.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us tonight. We got a lot to cover, but this is Sheila Brody Head. For those who don't know, we just tuning in late from Parliament Funkadelic, one of the original brides of Funkstein in the house right now. You can go to everything. Man, let me just say, it is an honor to have you stop by. Thank you so much. I can't thank you.
Thank you so much. God bless you guys. God bless.
Call me tomorrow.
I will. Okay.
All right, dear. Ladies and gentlemen.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Sheila Brody Head, aka Amuka, again from Parliament Funkadelic, Brides of Funkenstein, and it's been what she was talking about. She was referring to this massive book from Dawn Silva called The Funk Queen, and she shares a lot of information in here about her past, not just with Parliament Funkadelic and the Brides of Funkenstein, but also Sly and the Family Stone and tons of stuff. And it's got an insane amount of photos and stuff in here as well. Never before seen photos. And she shares a lot of stories about Sheila. She shares a lot of stories about Lynn Mabry, and some of which she never really kind of communicated with them and said, hey, I'm going to tell this story about you, or and so it kind of caused a little bit of a rift. But I'm glad, I'm glad that they were able to kind of get on the phone and start work as a result of her appearing. Both Lynn Mabry has been on the show, Dawn Silva has been on the show, and obviously Sheila has been. So all three of them have been on the show. So it's good that as a result of them coming on, that Sheila and Dawn have made amends. And she got her book back from Stozo, which is fantastic. So man, it's great. I love when plans comes together. So let's talk about some of the news and stuff. Obviously, we've got a lot to talk about here. Kind of went a little bit out because while we had Sheila on, I wanted to go ahead and play a little bit of that track, but that's one of the songs that we were going to play. Obviously, let's talk about the news here. Right. Are you guys seeing a 99-27 electoral map right now? Okay. So 99-27 Trump right now on the electoral map. You got to get to 270, whichever president gets, whichever candidate 270 would win. Again, as Rob has already said multiple times, still very, very early. But unfortunately, with Georgia, North Carolina, and Pennsylvania, which are the main swing states here, it's too early to call. But it's still kind of surprising. Anyways, let's go to the news. As we kind of mentioned before, rest in peace to the one and only Tyka Nelson, Prince's sister. I know that I've seen, kind of been watching conversations here and there. We made the announcement last night on Facebook and Twitter. A little bit early before it was kind of put out any place official. Some family members kind of put it on their private pages, but it was not out there, and not that really putting it on Funkatopia is out there either. But we have enough of rooted fan base. We have almost 70,000 followers on the Facebook page alone. So obviously, when it kind of got big. And the reality of it is that it is official. It is confirmed. And it was when I posted it also. And she has passed. They have not shared any information regarding cause of death. But she passed away yesterday morning. And it is it's very, very disappointing. I saw some people in discussions mentioning something to the effect of, because she was part of the shares of whatever the estate and whatnot, but she's not. Her passing away doesn't change any of that because she had already sold her portion to Primary Wave, I guess it was. So nothing changes with her passing. And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that her portion was already gone. So nothing shifts as far as any of that's concerned. But it's tough. That was very, very, very tough. I want to go ahead and put this scroll on here again, that Funkatopia Live is not endorsed, affiliated with Prince, Paisley Park, or the Prince Estate. I feel like I gotta keep putting that out there. So condolences for Tyke Nelson, because it really came on the it also came on the flip side, just which of more sad news, obviously, that previously that Quincy Jones had passed. And obviously Quincy, there's been Quincy Jones passing really kind of falls into kind of two different categories with Prince fans, because a lot of people are well aware that Quincy Jones was not a big Prince fan. He was, because a lot of people are well aware that I'm getting feedback from me. I think it was coming from you for a second, but
it was me. I think so.
It's all right. So because it primarily started, it kind of capped out, and I'm not sure which happened before, but it primarily happened on the We Are the World scenario, where everybody was invited to kind of come into the studio to record this song. And you probably saw the special on Netflix where they kind of talked. Was it Netflix? I think it was, or was it Amazon Prime? I can't remember. But anyways, they did the special talking about We Are the World, and they asked Prince multiple times to come out and join. But he didn't. He refused to do it. And it wasn't because he thought he was too good or any of that stuff. He
He tried to tell him that he didn't want to sing, but he'd gladly write a song instead.
Right, correct. Exactly. So he did write a song in response to that, and he did write the song. What was on the
It was on the album.
Yeah, it was on the soundtrack. It was on the We Are the World soundtrack album.
Yep.
And so that was all addressed, but still Quincy Jones still felt some kind of way. And then I guess to make matters worse, there was the whole incident at the James Brown concert. If you guys remember the James Brown concert where James Brown was performing on New Year's Eve, asked Michael Jackson to come up, and Michael Jackson comes up and sings and does a little dance and does everything and makes the crowd go insane. And then Michael Jackson, knowing kind of how Prince is a little bit, tells James Brown that Prince is in the audience, and kind of influences Prince to come up. So Prince comes up and he's not really prepared to really sing anything. So he plays a little bit of guitar, takes off his clothes, does some screaming and moaning, goes to the side of the stage and grabs a lamp that was just a stage prop and falls into the crowd. And it was not one of his greatest moments. And he apparently, according to an interview that was done with Quincy, saying that Prince was so mad that he tried to run Michael Jackson and Michael Jackson's mom over with the car backstage because he was so angry about it. And of course, this is all interview stuff, so it's not like hearsay or whatever. I mean, it's hearsay because it just came from nobody. There's no video proof of it. It just came from. So, anyways, and there's plenty of video of Quincy saying, I don't know if I've said George a couple times. There's plenty of video of Quincy saying, oh, well, Prince is not really that talented anyways. He's not really that great as far as like a piano player or this, that, the other. And he just wasn't a huge fan. I think it was more, I think he knew he was talented, but I just think that because he just never really got involved. And then to put the cherry on top, or the lollipop on top, as it would be, was it the 10-year anniversary of the We Are the World song? I believe it was. But they all get on stage to do, I guess, to honor the anniversary of We Are the World. And for some reason, Prince gets on the stage, even though he didn't participate in the original recording of it. And well, you see the photo here. This is a photo of and Prince was annoyed that they were lip syncing the whole song. So in order to kind of accentuate the fact that it was lip synced, he just sat there and just sucked on a lollipop the whole time. And he offers it to Quincy. Well, here, let me just do this. Let me just play the video of that moment. Here we go. Just watch the video of what happens.
We are the children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me. We are the world. We are the children. We are the children. So let's start giving.
All right, that's enough of that. So Prince offers him the lollipop, and then he snatches the lollipop away before he can actually grab it. I'm surprised that Quincy was actually going to do that anyways. But anyways, that just kind of accentuated everything. And so it is. It's just Quincy Jones is a legend. Okay. Prince is a legend. Quincy is one of the first time that I ever heard Quincy or knew about Quincy was on watching a Frank Sinatra special with my grandmother. And I guess Quincy was orchestrating behind Frank, and Frank actually called him out and said, "This is my, orchestra conductor, Quincy Jones. He's wrote a lot of this stuff, blah, 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 blah." And I remember thinking to myself, gosh, this is kind of really weird to see somebody in this powerful of a position of, with Frank, it's just, It was just surprising to me. I don't know why it was surprising to me in that moment. But Rob, you and I were talking about this, and you had a separate moment where Quincy Jones came onto your radar. But before I hand it over to you so you can share that story, my mother and I went to New York and New York City one year, and I can't remember where it was. It was late 80s. And we go into the hotel lobby, and my mom reaches out and says, "Hey, can you take a picture with my son?" And it was Quincy Jones. And so she took a picture of me and Quincy Jones. I tried to find that photo and I can't find it. It's over her house somewhere. Second I find it, I promise you I'll post it. But it's me and Quincy Jones. And I didn't even know who he was at that time. But luckily my mom knew, so I had a picture of me and Quincy Jones, which is pretty friggin' awesome. But again, you had a separate story about Quincy Jones when he came onto your radar. What was your story?
Where is this picture?
Where's what picture?
The picture you just talked about.
I said I tried to find the photo. It's got to be over my mother's house or something. But yeah, it's an old photo. And what was horrible about it,
I want to say that you showed me that picture once, and
I had this horrible little teen mustache. I didn't have a beard. It was just this horrible. I was wearing a scarf. It was so 80. It was such a time warp photo. I have to find that photo. I've got to tear this place apart to find a photo. But anyways, go ahead. Share your Quincy story.
Yeah, my Quincy story is not as interesting. No, actually, it really isn't.
Okay, never mind. We'll move on.
He recorded a version of I Know Corrida, which is AI, second word NO, and last word CORRIDA. I Know Corrida, which basically I believe translates to No Way Out, or yeah, I think it's No Way Out. But I love that song when it came out. I think it came out in 1980, and that was one of my favorite songs. I'm probably one of, I don't know, maybe a few hundred people who actually have the 45 of that song, because I love that song so much.
Wow.
And so that's where I first heard of Quincy Jones. And then and then when it wasn't Thriller, it was before Thriller. It was Michael Jackson's the one that I really liked.
Off the Wall.
Off the Wall, yeah. Then Off the Wall came out, and
his best album. I'm sorry, I'll just say it. I'll just say it right out of the gate. Off the Wall was Michael Jackson's best album. Thriller is fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's kind of like Prince's Purple Rain. But Off the Wall was a far more superior album than Thriller was. It was just the chord progressions, the song structure, everything about that friggin' album is the best. It's the best Michael Jackson album by far.
Absolutely, yeah. And I didn't even realize at the time, but that album actually came out before I Know Corrida. And I went back and I was looking at it later, and I was like, holy crap, he was actually on this. And then of course Thriller came out and blew everybody's mind. So obviously he had a big effect on people just with a very few selection of songs. Now, of course, he did a lot of stuff in movies, but as far as pop is concerned, weirdly enough, not as many songs as you would have thought, but still amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
It's sad to see him go, and it's too bad he never got to look at that lollipop.
Yeah. For all we know, I think it would be really, really funny if he got up to Heaven's Gate and Prince was there sucking a lollipop.
Yeah, lollipop, right? It's like you don't have to worry about any diseases now.
Really, dude. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't have.
right, let's go. Well, hold on a second. There was a question that somebody had asked, and I really didn't know the answer to this question. Jeremy says, "What is a good Quincy Jones album to buy on vinyl?" That is a good question. He's had so many of them. I actually looked at Quincy Jones' discography one time. I don't know what led me to look at it, but it is insane. Like literally his discography, you can just scroll. Like, dude, how many albums does this man have? Not just the stuff that he's touched, but the stuff that he's written for other people. It's crazy. It is so extensive. But maybe somebody that is very, very familiar with his discography might be able to help Jeremy with that question. What is the best Quincy Jones album to pick out? I want to say somebody said the Dude earlier, but yes, I think that there is an album called The Dude that I remember hearing.
That's the one that I know Carito's on. Yeah.
That somebody said that that is a fantastic album, but I couldn't really speak to that. I guess I need to beef up on that. It's kind of like we had this discussion before about Joni Mitchell and how Prince just constantly would always talk about how amazing Joni Mitchell is and how inspirational Joni Mitchell is. And I own just the one album, and I wish that I knew.
Right?
Huh?
You own the one album that you've never listened to.
No, I've listened to it. I listened to it.
Oh
yeah, I've listened. If I
Last
buy,
time you did a show, you were like, "I'm finally going to listen." I haven't heard anything since.
I did. I listened to it. To it. It's great. It's great. I know it's one of these multiple listen albums though, because it's like one of these things. There's so many interesting dynamics that are happening, and the problem with, I guess, my stereo system here is I have a massive speaker that's right behind me, as you can see right here, and there's another one that's over there. But I really feel like it's a headphone album because I feel like there's things going on that I'm not.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
But it's really short. It's only 40 minutes. So, you know.
Web Diva says George Benson's Give Me the Night album is incredible piece.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, George is freaking George Benson. I mean, it's just, for real.
Yeah.
All right. Next news item. So rest in peace to Tyka Nelson. Rest in peace to Quincy Jones. It is what it is. I don't know who the third is, but that normally happens in threes. But anyways, we can do a little bit of cheerful news. Cheerful news is it's somebody's birthday today. Whose birthday is it? The one and only Angelo Moore from Fishbone. And Big Daddy-O. The genius maniac. Angelo Moore, it is his birthday today, so I have to give props to my buddy Angelo. He is there's not many people that there's no others like Angelo. He is exactly, I mean, I've seen him calm. We sat backstage one time when he was eating, and he had just woke up, and he was just we were sitting backstage and we were talking, and he was just eating and talking, and I think it was one of the first interviews that I did with him, and he just it was the most normal that I had seen him, but he is just that quick, quirky, off the wall character that you see in Fishbone, just bouncing off things. I mean, some of the things that I would see, like a couple times I saw him in concert where he would go up to a second floor balcony and he would backflip off of the balcony into the audience down below. And I remember asking him on the interview, I was just like, what compels, and I made it a third person. I said, what compels a person to backflip off of a balcony and potentially killing themselves in the process just for the sake of a show? And he basically just answered, he was like, they were going to catch me. They knew that if they didn't catch me, the show would be over. So they had no choice but to catch me. I was like, that's trust, my brother.
The show would be over. That was the basis of their desire to catch him. The show's going to end.
That's right. the show will go on as long as we catch him. So happy birthday. Happy birthday to
Oh, I got another birthday too.
November 5th.
You don't know. I mean, you might know, but you wouldn't think about it.
Okay.
My daughter's birthday, Ariel's
birthday.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I don't have that on my calendar, but her cards in the mail.
Still waiting for her gift from you.
I'm gonna give her a WTF mug.
Love you, babe. Can't wait to see you soon.
Yes, absolutely. And you can get that early Thanksgiving. Oh, but there are some anniversaries too. 2 George Clinton anniversaries, by the way. Believe it or not, it was this is kind of hard to wrap your head around, but 42 years ago, George Clinton's first solo album, Computer Games, came out, which was, that's insane. It came out in 1982. George Clinton's Computer Games. And then 10 years ago, I can't believe it's already been 10 years, Funkadelic's First You Gotta Shake the Gate. It came out in 2014. So you got 2 Funkadelic related albums that kind of came out. So it's I mean, there you go. That's, I mean, that's worthy of bringing up, I would think. So let's go. Oh, here's one more thing just to kind of go down a rabbit hole. This happened 52 years ago today. And I want to play this, and I'm not going to preface it with anything other than this came out 52 years ago, and I want to see if it sparks any memories for anybody that is around our age. Let's enjoy this together and see if you remember this. This is crazy. Let's just watch it.
Now don't forget a loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. If you can't remember, I'll write it down for you.
That's okay, Mommy. I won't forget. I remember. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter. Mister, could I have a loaf of bread, a container of milk, and gee, I can't remember. Can you remember what my mommy said?
A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter.
A stick of butter. I remembered. Mommy, I remember. A loaf of bread, a container of milk, and a stick of butter.
You have a good memory, honey.
Thank you, Mommy.
That was 52 years ago. Wow. That's when I saw that video, it's like it like it was like immediate. It was like, oh my God. It's just what a crazy.
I think that video actually gave me anxiety when I was a kid.
Why did it give you anxiety?
Because I used to be that kid. It's like I'm going to the store.
We were all that kid. It was just like, here's what you got to get. And you'd be like, okay, I'm going to see if I can remember this stuff.
Only for me, it was like, go get some sodas, some tampons, and a pack of cigarettes. Like, Mom, sodas. What was that second thing? So you go up there and they'd be like, you can't buy cigarettes. I was like, I got a note from my mom. And they go, oh, okay.
Yes, right. All right. Since we're talking about anniversaries and whatnot, here's another anniversary that happened. It was the 40th. Okay, first off, yeah, so it's the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain tour, the tour. Yesterday, on the 4th of November, we need a Purple High. November 4th, It was the launch of the Purple Rain tour that happened in Detroit at the Joe Louis Arena. And I saw, for those that made it to the celebration last year, the celebration was completely 100% focused on Purple Rain, the 40th anniversary of Purple Rain. And when we got back from the celebration, it was only probably about a month. You guys can back me on this. There was they were talking about the fact that they're going to do a Purple Rain Part 2. And so essentially the celebration next year is going to be a continuation of the Purple Rain celebration, the 40th anniversary.
Okay.
And a lot of people had a little bit of an issue with that because there's not much more that you can do really at this point. Because somebody said, and I saw somebody said, well, where's the Purple Rain Super Deluxe that we were supposed to get? Well, to start, let's go ahead, and we had this. I'll make myself bigger in this case. We did get this. This is the Purple Rain Deluxe, not the Purple Rain Super Deluxe. But let's keep in mind that this was a very, very extensive, which is very, very cool, extensive collection. Not only did it have the, like when you're going to see this, not only did it have the Purple Rain album itself, but it also had multiple vault tracks on it as well. It's actually semi-legible. A bunch of single edits and B-sides. It also had the DVD that was also included on it, which was horrendous, by the way. It was basically a like direct from VHS to DVD, which was just insane. But it had all these extra things on it, lost tracks and whatnot. And we were actually going, I actually had this discussion previously regarding this album, regarding what more they can do on this, because it's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. I mean, it even came with a book with lots of really cool things, and the vinyl's even cooler than that. And then on top of that, well, they were like, well, we'll complain about the fact that the video was horrendous. So what are we going to do about that? Well, here's what they did about that. I'll make myself big again. Then they did this. Purple Rain Live, Prince and the Revolution Live. They did this box set here, which basically remedied the whole scenario with the how does this one open? Remedied the whole. I know how boxes open. I'm going to make a mess here, but basically it remedied the whole scenario because it had, as you can see from the hype sticker there, had an exclusive 2 CDs and 3 LPs in this particular set, and a Blu-ray of the live concert that was remixed and remastered from the remaster. And it came with these, the awesome thing. It actually came with a whole insert and whatnot, a Prince and the Revolution Live booklet, and then of course you have all the vinyl. I will tell you this, Rob, this vinyl I have not listened to. I normally do listen to the vinyls that I buy
Because you listened to Purple Rain enough already.
I was like, I don't need to hear this shit anymore. This is just at this point, this is a collector thing. I have to have it. It's just like, I mean, it's pretty obvious. You can see behind me that I have like a crap ton of all the box sets and whatnot. Every single box set they've released, I've gotten, and including the originals and all this stuff. I just did it because I'm just one of these completists, and I have no reason to have it or need it. I haven't even the 1999 one. But the point of this was, there was a broadcast that we did talking about Purple Rain. And I said, yes, Drea Dan says, I'm going to talk about that too. I'll put up here so you can see. He says, I know, right? No love for Around the World in a Day and Gold. I hope they do something. because we've already crossed the 40-year mark for Around the World in a Day with nothing. So not that Around the World in a Day isn't as celebrated as Purple Rain, obviously, but what you going to do? But anyways, the point of this was we had gone through the process of looking to see, because obviously there are tons of songs that are still in the vault that we don't even know about. That is obvious. But everything that was near complete or pretty close to complete that they can remix or put on or whatever came in this Purple Rain Deluxe. The only things that they could do really at this point, as far as a Purple Rain Super Deluxe is concerned, would be the score for Purple Rain, which was not all written by Prince. There was other people that were involved in that score. Believe it or not, you can look it up. But outtakes, that would be kind of cool. But I don't know what else you can put on this, because you've already done a ton of unreleased tracks. You've already done the live show. I just don't. And in regards to the celebration, what do you do in the celebration? Because you've pretty much, the only thing that they have not done for the celebration, as far as like bands and stuff, because Morris Day and the Time has played multiple times. The Revolution has played and toured. So everybody's already seen that. From that same era, Brown Mark Nation, aka Maserati, they've kind of already done their thing. Apollonia 6 reunion would be the only thing left that kind of came out of that mix, and a Jill Jones performance. Jill Jones, hey Jill, I know she watches every now and then, but Jill Jones and Apollonia 6 reunion would be the only two things really that are even remotely related to the movie. Des Dickerson and the Modern Airs, maybe. But is that, I don't know. What would you think would warrant something that's going to be worthy of them being able to do a Purple Rain 2.0 with this next celebration? What else are you going to do? More panels to talk about. We've had panels to talk about shoes. They've had panels to talk about fashion. They've had panels to talk about dance choreography. They've had panels from the band, The Revolution. They've had panels. What else could they do that they haven't already done? I think they're running this into the ground, and I think people are starting to get to the point where it's just like, man, what do we do? Thoughts? Can you think of anything?
Yeah, no, I mean the only thing I can think of that maybe I haven't seen, and I doubt that it's out there, I don't think it's even available, is some type of documentary kind of view of how that album and that movie was received in the times that it was in the time for that time period.
Yeah.
And maybe some of that is in the documentary that Netflix has that we may or may not ever see. But that's the only thing I can think of, because I mean, for those of us who recognized, it was for those of us who knew Prince when Purple Rain came out, it was finally, it was finally like an opportunity for us to look at our friends and all the people who thought we were insane, right?
We finally had validity. We were like,
we're not. We were finally validated for, they were all like, oh crap, you're right. That guy really is.
Rob and I have known each other since high school. And we were like Prince addicts back then. And it wasn't until Purple Rain that we were just like, okay,
Yeah.
finally validation
Yeah.
that we're not crazy. That this, you can now see how amazing and cool he is.
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how many times either I had, Michael Jackson fans who were like, oh, Prince isn't anything. And, and then there were, all the rock and roll guys like into Rush or whatever. And they're like, oh, Prince isn't anything. And then Purple Rain came out and they were like, holy crap.
And don't get me wrong.
No kidding. I've been trying to tell you for years. What'd you say, Chris?
I said we still love Rush, and we still love. You're not going to beat Tom Sawyer is going to win every time. I mean, come on now. Right. We still like those bands, but I mean, it was just like
But again, it was that validation. It was like everybody always downplayed Prince, and it's like you just have no idea, And I would play them stuff from Dirty Mind, and they just wouldn't get it. And and actually I had a friend of mine who just went crazy for Prince after Purple Rain, and then Parade came out, Around the World in a Day came out, and I'm sorry, not Parade, Around the World in a Day came out, and it was like, oh, Prince is dead. And I was like, no, he's just doing something. That's what he does. He's a genius musician. You can't put him in a box. That's the whole point.
So I had a stack of old pages and stuff, but this is what they did to us in the 80s. This is from 1985. This is the kind of
stuff. Not this. Yes,
this is the kind of stuff that we would get. It's Prince bodyguard tells why he's living in a secret world of fear. How Michael is paralyzed by fear of Prince. This is the kind of crap that we had to see. I literally.
This is the crap they were making up all the time. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and I've got like all these magazines and stuff from Newsweek to old Jet magazines.
I got some of those.
Rockline, Globe. I've got like all these this stack of stuff that I've kind of held on to.
And there were all these magazines that like they would just like come out with, like there was a Prince magazine all of a sudden and a Michael Jackson magazine, and they were always playing up Michael Jackson versus Prince, and it was like they're two completely different artists.
All right. Well, the point of this is obviously we got the celebration is going to be happening, and they actually have dates for the celebration. It's the first. Somebody in one of you Funkatopians, give me the date of the celebration again for next year, because they've already locked in the dates, which I was shocked that literally we were only back from the other celebration for a month before they announced that we're doing another celebration, and it's Purple Rain 2.0. I was like, what? And they locked in the dates. So the dates are already happening. So here's what I can tell you. You need to go to a celebration. If you've never been to a celebration, you have to go because it is such a opportunity to kind of get with a bunch of other Prince fans and hang out. And I love meeting everyone there and talking and hanging out. I love it, love it, love it. I normally always go GA. I love it. It's a lot of fun, and I get to hang out with a bunch of other Prince fanatics. You've heard me say it on the show a million times. Prince fans are in a bubble. It's very, very rare that you go out to the general public and you run into another Prince fan or addict that's as impassioned about Prince and Prince's music and everything as we are. And so it's a really, really good opportunity for all of us to collectively come into his home in the state and his recording studio, and also just be in the same area, general vicinity, and just party together and have a great time. I love it. So I will always go. I don't, but I'm still. The thing about it is that this Purple Rain 2.0 just seems. I'm just not sold on it, because I just don't know. I literally just don't know what they can do with this. I honestly don't. I don't know what they can do with this. Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's that. I don't know. Anyways,
what it might do, since they're focusing on Purple Rain, is it might bring a lot more people out this time around.
Well, that's what they did. That's the reason why they did it last year. So I mean, it's already been done. And they broke it out, and they had for some reason Morris Day singing with NPG. It was like NPG wasn't even part of. Okay, That's fine. So it was just maybe an original time lineup. There you go. That would be good. There you go. Maybe you recreate Triple Threat, which is 1999, but maybe you create something like that where you have Apollonia 6 and you have the original lineup of the time and you have the Revolution with maybe, somebody else saying, I don't know. I guess there's something there, but again, you got to have something that you can stretch out over a week period of time, and I just don't know what that is. So anyways, all right, let's go to the next. I can't believe we haven't been talking about the election thing. We've been talking about election night right now. Currently, unfortunately, it is 154 to 27 right now, which I don't understand, but okay.
That's CNN's reporting, but that's not everybody's reporting.
Well, I understand that, but they can only report what's being sent to them from the states, and they're not making numbers up.
No, but some places call things earlier than others based on data that's coming in, and like the AP poll right now has 99 and 120, so that's a huge difference, and that's weird. I don't know why.
You have Harris at 99 and Trump at 120.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I think CNN. I don't. Okay, but and again, I hope that it is closer than this, because this is woof. That's just like not.
Well, and polls literally just closed on the West Coast. So
the West Coast polls are still open.
No, they should have closed by now because it's 7:00 here, and they go 7 to 7.
It goes until.
Oh, they closed here in Arizona. I'm sorry, you're right.
The West Coast polls will be open until 11 our time, Eastern Standard Time, in Atlanta time. Because I looked it up before. I said, are we going to be doing this? Like, what's the point of doing this or talking about some of this stuff if voting's all going to be done? And if we were to stop at 10, there's still an hour. It's 11 o'clock that our time that polls close in California. So California's still open. Arizona, as he was just referring to, does not do the time zone change. They don't do any of that stuff. The daylight savings, they don't do any of that stuff. And so there's kind of this strange thing. But which is fun. It's great. At least you have consistency. Let's go to the next news item. Let's talk about this, because I want to move into this election thing here. Okay. Listen, I got to talk about this because a lot of people have been asking, but it is November, folks, which means you guys know what this means as far as Funkatopia is concerned, and that is Prince-giving. For those that don't know about Prince-giving, I will show it to you because this is actually the announcement of the actual date. And here it is. The date is November 21st at noon Eastern Standard Time. So on November 21st, we'll be playing all of Prince's music in complete chronological order. It takes 4.5 days to do it, and we'll do it twice. So it's pretty insane. It will go from 21st until the end. It may actually bleed into December 1st. But basically it takes you, most people are off that week prior to it. And then of course it goes there and it covers into Thanksgiving, and then through that weekend, the Black Friday, and into that weekend. So there it is. So make sure you download the Funked Up app. Make sure you download the Funked Up app and grab it. But here's what I'll tell you: it's not available. It's not available for the general public this time. So you can download the Funked Up app, but you have to be a Patreon member in order to get onto Uptown Radio Plus, because this year it will only be on Uptown Radio Plus. I've kind of explained that before. The reasoning why we had to do that. It is still available to you. It's still, and if you want to if you just want to join Patreon just for November, just to be able to hear it, cool, do that. That's fine. That's perfectly fine. I don't have any problems with you doing that. But here is the reality of it. As you may or may not know, both of the radio stations that are on there are ASCAP licensed. And the way the ASCAP works is it looks to see how many people have listened to it, what songs have played, what artist has played, and then it does a bunch of math. And when we do Prince-giving, and when we do Prince-miss, and when we do some of we give like a few different events. When we do those, the listenership goes gets goes through the roof. And as a result, so do the ASCAP licensing fees. In the past 3 years that we've done Prince-giving, we have not been able to cover the ASCAP licensing fees. It's not been fun. It's not been great. So we needed to make sure that we're able to cover the ASCAP. We don't want to take Prince-giving away. But we have to make sure that we can actually pay the fees. And the reality of it is, I don't even know this is even going to work because the numbers I don't know we're about to find out. But basically, you can join Patreon for literally for $5. But there's different levels of Patreon that you can join. And each level comes with different things. You get different, really cool file stuff. Matter of fact, next month, I'll be sending out gifts to the top three memberships for I literally personally go out and buy gifts for all those top 3 memberships, but every level of membership comes something different, but you don't even have to, you can just do the little one and get this, and it takes you through all of November. And then of course in Princemas, which happens in December, as long as you're still a Patreon member in December, you get the same thing. So it's going to be amazing. It's going to be great. I know Arlene asked, is the case that Princemas is not live stuff? So I looked back in time, and apparently there has been some years where I did Princemas was live concerts. And then there was a couple instances where I did alphabetical, not chronological. I did alphabetical. So I will leave it up to the Patreon supporters which one we want to do. Prince-giving will be chronological. That will start again November 21st, 12 p.m. Put it on your calendar. Download the Funked Up app. Again, it's only going to be available to Patreon members, but Prince-giving will be doing all of his music in chronological order, and that starts on November 21st. But you need to download the Funked Up app and become a member of Patreon. And there's a message that's in there, and you can get access to the app because you'll be clicking on Uptown Radio Plus, and it will prompt you for a password. You need to know what that password is to get access to it. But check it out. It's going to be great. It's going to be fun, and it's coming. Got the date. It's already locked in. I've got to do a lot of re-recordings and stuff. It's not fun for me, but it's going to be awesome for you. So there you have that. I just want to make sure I make that announcement. And the last item on the news is obviously Paisley Park is going to be having an event, and it's going to be on November 22nd. So the day after we do this, they're going to be doing a party for the legendary Black Album. It's the 30th anniversary of the release of the Black Album. It's going to be at Paisley Park. You're going to be able to do a walkthrough tour there. And they're going to have music with DJ Holtz, and I'm sure they're going to be playing the Black Album in its entirety. So if you don't have anything to do, make sure, and you can happen to be in the Minnesota area, or specifically Chanhassen, go. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. All right. So there you go. Man, that's a lot of stuff. Really, really quick. Yeah. And we still got the soundstage to do, which I don't, now I'm wondering, do we push the soundstage off and do it? Because we got to talk about the election and stuff. So, today, yeah, do we have to talk about the election? Let's do soundstage and let's not talk about the election at all. Yeah, two very, very different candidates. You couldn't get more polarizing. What's interesting is that the candidates are polarizing and are two totally different sides of the spectrum, but the vice presidential candidates are pretty freaking close. Even watching that vice president, even watching that debate, it was just oh no, I agree with you. Oh no, it's just it was why it's so cordial. And I mean, yes, there's some differences and stuff in the policies and everything, but as far as personalities go, pretty real. It's pretty normal. I mean, but it's just surprising to me that it is that the candidates themselves, being Kamala and Trump, are so vastly different, and that obviously the numbers don't show it now, because again, I'm looking at the CNN electoral map and it's showing Trump 154. It's showing 154.30.
Yeah.
And it may be different somewhere else. I don't know, but all the way up until we did this, they were supposed to be neck and neck.
Right.
This was supposed to be like a neck and it may well be, because they may just be reporting on the ones that have the largest, because all the swing states are on the East Coast, Georgia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina. But I mean, that's just where it's at, unfortunately. But all those other numbers could easily, take this into a much closer race scenario. But what's surprising to me, I'll get to the point. What's surprising to me is that this country is this divided like this. It's just so strange to me that this many people voted. I don't know why I'm surprised that this many people voted for Trump. I heard it. I just couldn't process it. I was just like, really?
Well, one of the things I was just looking at what they've got on the CNN website. They're showing projections based on where it is now, but when you start like really looking at some of the states that they're saying are actually red or green, red or blue, I think the one that is the most likely to end up going totally red is Florida, because the vote percentage there is 89%. So they've got 89% of the vote.
That one's already done. But
if you look at Alabama, the vote in right now is 2%. Probably still going to be red no matter what. When you look at Georgia, it's 70%. So there's a possibility that there could be a change there.
All right, so this is
Pennsylvania. You were talking about Pennsylvania, 22% of the vote there, and that's right now, currently projected for Kamala Harris. But again, we don't have all the votes in, and we're probably not going to have all the votes in tonight. Even, I mean, there's some laws and rules that are going to make it challenging. I think even in Georgia, some of that most recent ruling that they put in about counting the ballots by hand is going to cause some challenges with, getting that actual count. So, and this is exactly what Trump complained about last time, where, there was a vote dump. There wasn't a vote dump. It was that people were counting the votes.
Well, and so we're looking at the map right here. Apologies if you guys listening via audio, but right now it's 154 to 30. But and what you're looking at map wise is that if it's dark red, it basically means it's a done deal. It's gone to Trump.
Roll over Alabama again.
It's
estimated vote in 2%. So it's not a done deal. It's what they have projected it to be. But the votes that they've counted is only 2%. So they expect Alabama to go red because it almost always goes red. Like I don't know that there's been a time in recent history where it hasn't. So that's part of what's going on here. Is they're showing where it is right now, but it's got a long way to go. Yeah, I mean,
in some of these, the Florida's definitely going to look like definitely going to go Trump.
Yeah, I don't see any way that's going to turn back around.
Yeah, that's not. And
that's not a surprise.
No, I've been to Florida many times. It's not a surprise. Yeah. I've also been.
Speaking of that, have you seen the show It's Florida Man? If you haven't,
I've seen it on Netflix. It keeps popping up. Not
it's
Netflix.
On Max. It's on Max. It is well worth watching if you like stupid, crazy shit. Yeah.
And Pennsylvania definitely looks like it's going to Kamala, which is good because they said
that's only 22% of the vote in.
Right, but look at the disparity though. It's 57.7 over 41.5. That's very, it's just surprising because it's
Well,
just
22% of the vote, that could go either way. I mean, you
Oh,
can't.
yeah, and again, and even these don't even have
Right.
They're just saying it's red, and this is showing 0% of the vote in.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's why this count that they've got up there, it's based on what those states typically do in the Electoral College. So very few of them have actually, gotten to the point where it's statistically relevant where they are right now, because there's a shitload of votes to count.
Illinois is actually very, very surprising to me that it's that far. I mean, considering that everything around it is red, with the exception of Iowa.
Yeah, but Illinois has been like that for a long time. It's one of those.
North Carolina's got 52% of the vote in so far. Donald Trump is 50.7%. But as Rob has just mentioned, we got 52% of the vote in right now. So it's 50.7 over North Carolina and 48.1. And that's pretty close. I mean, that's less than 100,000 votes right there. And again, you still got 48% of the votes coming in. But again, North Carolina is going to be tough because it's very it doesn't have a lot of, I don't know. It will be surprising if it doesn't stay red.
North Carolina is interesting because they had to scramble to make sure that everybody could vote after Hurricane Helene went through there. So I think, based on everything I've read, that they've handled it pretty well. But I don't know.
Minnesota is actually kind of unusual. This is a good point. Christina says Minnesota's usually blue. Weird they have it red. Right. Yeah, and the other thing too is that Walsh is from Minnesota, and that makes it even stranger, because I mean, it just makes it even stranger that Donald Trump
of the vote that's in.
Yes, it says 0% of the vote in right now. So I don't even know whether we're talking about like 3,000 votes.
Right,
So,
a lot of probably millions there. So
but it's only red because of the fact that he happens to be currently in the lead by a mere less than 800 votes here.
Right.
So
so that's why I'm saying, there's a whole lot of time, whole lot of more votes to count.
Yeah, there's a lot going on here. It's definitely a lot going on.
But I agree with you. I am shocked that it is as close as it is, considering what we know of the candidates at this point, and the experiences we've had, and that one of the candidates just gets out there and just rambles.
Well, and that was another thing too, because I want to share this also, because this is I don't know if you guys are familiar with an amazing website, by the way, called PolitiFact. And PolitiFact, whenever somebody says something, whether it be a politician, regardless of who it is, and they kind of focus on politics, but if somebody makes some type of claim, PolitiFact will check it and tell you whether or not, and they have basically what they call a truthometer. Truthometer sounds much better, but the guy who is the founder of PolitiFact was just on Jon Stewart, Daily Show with Jon Stewart, and he goes, "No, it's truthometer." And John was like, "Sure, you don't want to call it truthometer?
You sure you want to call it truthometer?"
It's truthometer. So he corrected John and said, "No, it's truthometer." It's like, okay, all right, truthometer. It's his website. He can do whatever he wants. But basically, what this is they kind of look at what the people have said, and here is Kamala's. Basically, the way that PolitiFact works is, and I don't know, hopefully this will. Can you still see the me scrolling right now?
I see you scrolling.
Okay, good.
So exciting.
Basically, they have this odometer type of thing where
it's faster. Scroll.
Yeah, faster. So
Really?
they have, it can either be false, it can be true, and they also have a pants, mostly false, half true, or pants on fire. Pants on fire. So they actually have like all these, it's actually a funny thing. So, anyways, this is some of the stuff that Kamala has said about Trump, and they fact check it. Like one of the things it says, former President Donald Trump would force states to monitor women's pregnancies. That is false. You can actually, if you want to go to PolitiFact, you can click on this stuff and you can read read why it's false, but it goes into all the details. With this, I don't know what, I don't know why
El
that's
expresidente Donald Trump quiere
yeah,
la ley de cuidado de salud a bajo precio.
but anyway, it's obviously talking about a specific location because all that's capitalized. It says, as of today,
I can pronounce it, but I only caught half of those words.
But anyway, so it's Kamala. It says, as of today, we have cut the flow of immigration by over half. That's true. Former President Donald Trump wants to take away the Affordable Care Act. It's half true. It's not really true. But it's not really false either. Right. We have cut the flow of fentanyl by half. False. Teachers, nurses, and firefighters are paying a higher tax rate than billionaires and the biggest corporations. Mostly false. We now have historic low unemployment in America among all groups of people. That's kind of half true. Kamala says, Donald Trump said he was going to allow Medicare to negotiate drug prices. He never did. We did. That is true. So the point of this is that we're looking at all the comments and stuff that Kamala made, which has kind of got a lot of litter. It's littered with truths. It's littered with truths and half truths. And the reason why
the Donald Trump stuff,
I am that's
more fun because all politicians stretch the truth. I mean, that's the thing. You were talking about Walls and JD Vance, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah,
getting up there and doing a normal debate, the kind of debate that we've had all through our lives between politicians. Now let's go here.
Now let's look at Trump's. So on Trump's, I never mentioned wanting to end the Affordable Care Act. Pants on fire. He apparently has success. As California Attorney General, Kamala Harris redefined child sex trafficking, assault with a deadly weapon, and rape of an unconscious person as a totally nonviolent crime. That's false.
The only reason there's not pants on fire is because he didn't say it a bunch of times.
Right. Right to try experimental drug programs saved thousands and thousands of lives. That's false. He said, in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, we caught them with 2,600 votes. We caught them cold, 2,600 votes, and every vote was written by the same person. That's false. Vice President Kamala Harris has been going so far as to call me Adolf Hitler. That's false. He said, Vice President Kamala Harris wants struggling seniors to pay more Social Security taxes while she gives Medicare and Social Security to illegals. That's false. Oh, here's one that's true. Kamala Harris supports taxpayer-funded sex changes for prisoners and illegal aliens. Mostly true. Now, you and I talked about this on the phone because here's what it is and I think I actually have this bookmarked. I do have this particular word because this was a big talking point on the ads, talking about how she was allowing transgenders to have sex changes in prisons. And that's not really the full, that's the excerpt that they took. And it's a pretty damn good, effective excerpt because those words are coming out of her mouth, but there's more to it than that. Did you want to go into this or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, this one, because I don't know about other states, but in Arizona, they played this one like every 5 minutes. I don't. If you're a sports fan, you know this one almost by heart because they played it through the World Series. They played in every football game, and I wasn't able to get the details exactly on the talk that she was giving, but she was giving a talk to a transgender rights group. And there was a case that came before the Attorney General in California when she was the Attorney General. where a prisoner of the California penal system wanted basically care for transgender issues. And
it wasn't just for to interrupt, it wasn't just for transgender issues. It was just basically a specific level of care for not just transgenders, but just for anybody that's in the penal system, that they would receive some kind of equal balance. Because I did follow up and read a little bit more, that it would have an equal balance of care across the thing. Now,
she supports that. She does. She supports that those people should be able to get the same level of care that we get, even if you're in prison. Even if you're in prison. But as Attorney General, she had to fight on the side of California, which did not want to provide that care. The thing is, constitutionally, the United States Constitution, through the clause for no cruel and unusual punishment, does not allow that. So if you're able to get that care as a person who's not in prison, it would be cruel and unusual punishment according to the Constitution and according to the way the Supreme Court has upheld that, to not provide that same care.
Yeah, but that is a blanket statement, because getting a sex change is not, being denied the ability to get a sex change is not cruel and unusual punishment.
So here's the thing about that. Anytime they're looking at doing that kind of surgery, there is a lot. It's kind of like if you had cancer. There is a lot of meeting with doctors, multiple doctors, going through the process of trying to determine that. It's called sexual. Oh, shit, I'm saying the wrong words now. Basically, it's gender confirmation surgery. Most of those surgeries are not even below the waist. A lot of those surgeries, and this is one of the things that kind of messes with people, gender confirmation surgery can be men who have a condition that causes their breasts, their chest to grow like breasts. And they can go to have that removed so that they have a normal chest like a man does. Like a normal man does, I should say. And that is included as a gender confirmation surgery.
But how many people, and not because I don't want to drag this part on too much, but how many people we talking about here that this is like, what, two?
There was one person
in
the California penal system, not the federal penal system. The California penal system. So this has nothing to do with federal elections at all.
Right.
There's one person, and there's supposedly another person within the federal system who has tried to apply to make this happen. So we're talking about one person, maybe two people. Let's say it's 10 out of all the people that are in prisons in the United States who have requested this. Yeah. That is such a low percentage of people that it's crazy that it's even in our conversation now. The only reason that it's in the conversation is they found that great clip from
it's a great clip
talking to those people, and they were like, let's spin it this way. And
here's the other thing too.
It's a red herring. It's one side trying to do that thing. And she talks about this a lot. Kamala does, about them trying to separate people, about them trying to divide us. You're creating the other. And that's a very common way for people who want to get into power to do that. You create another, you create something for everybody to hate.
Well, and that's been Trump's platform since day one.
Yes.
But here's an important part that you left out, and here's an important part that you left out. Trump supports the exact same thing, because because if you read that PolitiFact report where it talks about mostly true, Trump, because of the fact that he is on record agreeing with that whole platform about everybody getting equal care in the penal system. He's technically agreeing the same thing. The difference is he's not on record and in saying it out loud in that particular. I mean, of course, anyways, that whole thing.
She's on record as supporting what the United States Constitution says. So,
well, and here's the thing,
want a president? Don't you want a president who supports the Constitution? I do.
Well, you can see the big divide in how Kamala has really kind of gone out of her way to make sure that there's representation in the gay community and the transgender community and just everything that Trump is the exact opposite. Again, as I said at the very beginning of the broadcast, it is two very, very distinct opposite side of the spectrum candidates. And the fact that the voting is the way that it is right now, I don't know if that's probably the more disconcerting part to me, is that there's so many people that feel that way about certain things, that instead of just being like, you do you, boo, that people feel so strongly about it that they've sat quietly in the shadows waiting for this day to be like, yep, that's me. It's just kind of, it's just like, woof.
I understand it though, because there's a lot of us, and I'll include myself in this, that have worked really hard all of our lives and, have played by the rules, and, the American way of life hasn't turned out well for us. And so what they're doing is they're saying, you know what, you're right, it hasn't. So let me give you a boogeyman to place that on. You know what? It's all this social stuff with transgender. You know what? It's all the immigrants that are coming in. They're making things bad for you. And it's not. They're trying to find a way to take that feeling that people have, because the world has changed dramatically. I mean, the world is always changing, but the world has changed probably more dramatically in the past 50 years than it has in the previous 200.
Well, I think that it's always been there. I think that just social media just gave it a front row seat, and made it more easy. Yeah, it made it so easily accessible, because I always hear this too. It's like, kids can't go and walk around, and because when we were kids, we went out and did whatever we wanted to do. We just came back whenever, came back when the lights, sometimes didn't even come back when the street lights came on. And people's like, oh, it's a much, much different world. I think the world was pretty much that same way, but the difference is that everything that happens in the world is now readily accessible via Ring, via Facebook, via Twitter. Everything is just, it's immediately accessible. It's like, you're going to find out exactly if there's a sexual predator in your neighborhood the second that they move into your neighborhood. Back in the day, that would have happened, but you probably wouldn't have found out unless you were one of those, one of those folks that really dug deep and went and wanted to know about every single person in your neighborhood, which is not a whole bunch of those types of people, but it sure makes it a hell of a lot easier if I can just go on to neighborhood.com or whatever that website is that's attached to Ring, and also the other, I think it's Neighborhood or whatever. And you can just start asking, did you guys hear that gunshot? Did you? It's like, oh my God, people, it's just so immediately accessible. It's just, anyways.
Yeah, that's part of it. And you know what? The world, statistically and in all the reports, the world is safer now. America's a lot safer than it used to be. And
I people will definitely debate that, but again, it goes to show that
based on FBI, the
Ring camera
you can get from policing, it's a lot safer now.
Definitely a lot more accountability. There's a lot more accountability now, and I think that really kind of definitely spun that turning point, that Rodney King turning point, where it was just like, holy shit, this stuff is happening in the background. And most of it, like the stuff that was happening with Rodney King, Rodney King beating, that was going on all the time.
Right.
But most of America didn't see it, especially definitely specifically white America. They were just like, what now? What's happening?
Right.
And so now all of a sudden, now you've got
cameras.
Now you've got all these cameras everywhere, and it's like you can't get away with anything. It's just like I think it's great.
Some of us are like, yeah, that shit's been going on forever. It's just now
right.
you see
Exactly.
the pictures of it. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's like it took you guys this long. Did you guys really not know this was happening? Yeah. I mean, we were white. Of course, we were living in like low income neighborhoods, but we knew it was going on. We was like, you didn't know this was happening. We watch it like all the time.
Yeah.
We see it happen.
We just didn't have a camera right there available every time.
Yeah, it's just, it is what it is. All right, let's do this. I'm looking at the CNN electoral map. Again, this is based on their predictions and whatnot, but electoral map is showing 154 Trump, Harris is 81. At least it's not like insane now. We have no idea what it will look like. It probably will not be a call in the morning, but here's what we are going to do. We're going to take a moment here to share some new tracks with you because it's awesome. This is an episode of Soundstage. We're going to play you was going to be 6 tracks, but we're only going to play 5 because thankfully Sheila Brody Head, aka Amuka, came on, aka Sheila Horn, from Brides of Frankenstein, already came on, and we played the track that she had found, which is going to be cool. You guys will not hear that song anywhere. That's from her private collection that was dug up, and so maybe you guys will see it. I don't know. So let's talk about Soundstage, which is one of my favorite things. We're going to share some new music, and then after we get done with this, we'll take one more look at where it stands, and then we'll call it a night, and then hopefully, pray that it works out for the best. But no matter what happens, we just need to just stay unified and just keep your head up. No matter what happens.
I'll tell you who I support.
I mean, you can say whoever you want to do. I mean,
I think at this point it's pretty clear.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, here's the thing. The things that I'm most concerned about in this election were never really. We're just kind of swept on the under the rug. For me, Social Security is a big thing for me.
Yeah,
I am literally friggin' 10 years away from when I'm supposed to retire, and I don't even know if all that money that I've put into that system is even going to be available to me when I retire.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the things that I'm actually friggin' concerned about. Some of the stuff that Tim Walz was talking about is fantastic as far as like the free meals and stuff. All the money that we pay into the educational system, first off, it's the way that it's allocated is ridiculous because teachers should make double what they're making. My daughter started out as a teacher, but the amount of money that the amount of hours that she had to work for the money that she had to make was insane. It was ridiculous. How do you expect a teacher, somebody to survive off of $28,000 a year? Are you kidding me right now?
Right.
My apologies to anybody out there who may be making that, but for what a teacher has to do and the level of education that they have to have, and with student debt and everything that they have to have, something needs to happen.
Yeah.
Something needs to happen there's education, Social Security, the things that actually directly affect me. The immigration scenario. Okay. I get that. I totally get that. You guys probably should be upset about it because it's not really. And I know you got front row seats to it in Arizona. I mean, I know you probably, I don't know how much you feel the impacts of immigration or not, but I do know that there is an issue. Okay.
There is an issue, but with immigration though, it's not,
I know
it's not the way that it's been portrayed. And there is a problem and it needs to be fixed and addressed.
Sure.
They had not a solution, but they had some steps to fixing it, about a year ago, or was it 6 or 8 months ago? I don't know. I can't remember, but the both sides, the Republicans and the Democrats had gotten together and said, yes, we can go forward with something. And then that was nixed because Trump was like, no, I want to run on that. But beyond that, I got a text. I'm registered as an independent. So being registered as an independent in a swing state, I would not recommend it. Because if you want to get a million freaking texts,
that's just that's like no matter.
I think you get more if you're registered as an independent.
Because which way you're going to vote, you could swing either way. So it's just like they got to send you everything. You get Democrat stuff, you get the Republican stuff, you get the Green stuff, you get the you get everything.
Yeah.
You get everything.
So we had a guy show up at our house
and you deserve
a couple of days ago.
It's your fault.
It is my fault. So we had a guy show up at our house a couple of days ago, and there's three of us here registered to vote in Arizona. The guy came to the door and specifically wanted to talk to me. So I'm like, okay, great. And I think he was from the AAFL-CIO, so not a good organization. But I have been ignoring the texts, the calls, all that stuff forever. And he came up and he asked me that question: what is the most important issue in the election for you? And and then I said, well, what do you mean? And he says, well, like immigration or transgender and all this stuff. And I was like, I don't care about any of that shit. None of that shit really affects me. The thing that affects me the most, the thing that I think affects everyone the most, and the thing that I think if we addressed would actually make a difference is income inequality.
Sure.
Because this time in our history, the disparity between the people who are rich and the disparity between the people who are not is so dramatically different than it ever was before.
Oh, absolutely.
By like orders of 10, 100 times orders of magnitude. And when people have that much money, that's where the power is. So how are those of us down here going to get there?
Yeah, well, I mean, not everybody can be there, but the reality of it is that there's always going to be, I mean, that's just the way it is.
There's always going to be people who make more money. That's fine, but those people are benefiting from how we have America set up,
right?
Way more than those of us where you and I are benefiting, and it's because they're in power, giving people money to make that happen.
Yeah. Well.
All right, I'll get off my soapbox now.
Okay. All right. Soundstage. Let's start with the first one. Let's do that. So the first one
from the top.
Yeah, we're going to start from the top. From the top. So the first one is one that you actually told me, which is a gentleman by the name of, I guess it's Sema, but the name is it's Sema Funk is basically what it is.
His name is actually Eric Alejandro Iglesias Rodriguez.
So he went with Sema Funk, which is probably better. And he's got a brand new album out that came out this year called Pa Tu Cuerpo, and it's a song called So Lucky. And what's interesting about it is I'm not playing two songs, I'm only playing one because I created clips.
No, I knew you did. I just wanted you to know that there was another really good song on there.
Oh, no, yeah, I did. I reviewed the whole albums. Okay. So the clip I'm going to play is a song called So Lucky. And on this one, he actually has a bunch of different artists, including that he works with. One is Eric Krasno from Soul Alive and Lettuce. Another person on this song is Maurice Mobetta Brown, who you may know from Lettuce and The Roots. And then Angelica Jelly Joseph from Galactic. And you may have also seen her with Tank and the Bangas. So he's really big. He's a Grammy nominated Cuban musician he kind of mixes funk and hip hop and Cuban and Afro Caribbean music. And it's really cool. It's a really cool combination. And there's a lot of great songs on this album. Again, it's called Pa Tu Cuerpo, and the name of this track is called So Lucky. So I'm going to play a little clip of this. Most of the clips that I'm just going to play are just 1 minute clips. but I wanted you guys to enjoy this. So check out this track called So Lucky from Sema Funk. We'll play it right now.
So lucky, so lucky, so lucky. And I spring my mind, ando bendecido con fire. Girl, we need to get higher. We don't need nothing else to go higher. Oh, ando super, super lucky. Hoy toca salir, vamos a calentar. Calentamos que, calentamos que. Oh, we got to do, cogerla bien suave.
I'm the one, toda la rica pa' piso, dándole candela a ese punto. Dime si tú quieres y te aviso, no te pongas pacho con punto. Tú sabes que te conviene, después no te desesperes, llega pa' que te quede quedando con paso y se compongue. Arrebatado, tao, tao, llegó tu calentón con tu mbamba.
Siempre falla, so lucky, so lucky, so lucky. And I spring my mind, ando bendecido con fire. We got what we need to get higher. We don't need nothing else to go higher.
That was a little clip from Sema Funk, song called So Lucky, and it's got a brand new album out. You can find more information. Of course, you can listen to all these tracks on Spotify or wherever you listen to music, but also semafunk.com, which is CIMA funk.com. And that song is called So Lucky, which is a pretty awesome track. It was, and one of the things that, there's also another track on there where he's called I Don't Care. And I was actually going to play that track. But I liked So Lucky. I wanted to kind of mix it up, and I already have two other tracks on here that feature George Clinton. But the song that you were talking about was another track on this album called I Don't Care that features George Clinton, Nick West, who we've had on the show, and Trombone Shorty. And I mean, some really, really great stuff. But needless to say, this is filled with some really cool Cuban funk, and you'll really like it. That's your style. You need to check it out for sure.
Yeah, and he's also a good vocalist too. He's mostly rapping there, but he has some pretty good slow jams too. So, but yeah, that other song with George Clinton. I mean, I just figured that could be our theme for the night, George Clinton. But it's all right.
And it's looking like it will be, because again, there are two tracks on this list that actually feature George. George has been very, very busy. We're going to talk about that.
Yes, yeah. For a man his age, he's out there making it happen.
No, he's got to. I mean, he's got to get those royalty checks for all of his final tours. All right. The next on the Soundstage is one that we've talked about before, Corey Wong.
I love Corey Wong.
And he has got a brand new album out called Starship Syncopation that he does with Metropole Orchestra. And it's pretty friggin' awesome. You can always find more information on him at CoreyWongMusic.com. But the album is called Starship Syncopation, and the song that I'm going to be playing is called Burning. But many of you may or may not know him, but he's from Minneapolis. He's a huge Prince fan. Matter of fact, a few albums ago, he did an entire recording session in Paisley Park called the Paisley Park Session. I think Sonny T was on that. A bunch of MPG folks were on and off that album. And it was just really cool because he was in Paisley Park doing a studio session and did a bunch of stuff. It was really, really cool. It was on the Best Funk of list, I think 2022, I think. I'll have to go back and check. But he tours and plays occasionally with Vulfpeck, Dr. Mambo's Combo, which many of you know if you're Minneapolis folks. They are fantastic. Margie Cox, a.k.a. Tamar in the Scene, those guys. Dr. Mambo's Combo, Dave Matthews Band, tons more. Does a lot of session work, but he's got his own albums and whatnot. And this song is called Burning. So we will play this one next. Enjoy this one here. There's a little bit, a minute of this. That was a little taste of Corey Wong's song called Burning off of Starship Syncopation. I will pre-warn you, the album is primarily instrumental.
Yep.
That is probably the funkiest track on the album. He kind of does a lot. This album is kind of all over the map, but if you like Corey Wong, especially if you're a musician, because he's very, very technical, and that's one of the things that he's very well known for, is he's kind of like a musician's musician. He just, that's one of the big draws, but very, very fantastic act. Corey's very, very big and well known in Minneapolis and above and beyond. I mean,
I love this. I love this album to just kind of like put it on and like get some work done. Just, whatever I'm doing, put that album on and just sit there and it's what's that?
Just vibe.
Yeah, vibe. Yeah, man. It's great, man. It's just whatever you're doing, like it's great background music, and like every now and then you'll be like, damn.
Pretty awesome. All right, the next on the soundstage we have Mono Neon. Man, of course, he's got a brand new album out now called Quilted Stereo. It always seems like he releases like at least a couple albums a year, and he's always doing like these little random videos and stuff. A lot of people know he played bass in a lot of different things. And one, obviously, that's really specific and dear to my heart that I hope gets released at some point in time is that he actually recorded an album with Prince in the studio called Black is the New Black. And it's still sitting in the vault. It's Prince and Mono Neon. And I don't know who else was in the mix. Maybe Michael B. I don't know. But it literally is an album that's sitting in the vault. And we want it. We want it like bad. We really, really, really want it. But a lot of people don't really know a lot about him, but he does a lot of these little social media clips where he like takes like a speech and then he plays music to it, and which is really, really funny. And here is a taste of this. This is not off of the album. This is a clip of him doing his thing, playing bass with special guest Donald Trump.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country. They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country.
Anyways, that's a little taste of
That's great.
and he does that a lot. So he'll take like clips of things that
Eating
people
the
say.
dogs. Cat, dog.
He does that all the time, and not just with Trump. He did it with Kamala too. He's a master at doing that. Which the amount of time it takes to just perfect. He's such an experimentalist on bass. But anyways, this song is called Quilted. It's off his brand new album called Quilted Stereo. This actually is a song that he does with George Clinton. And of course, he's well known for his unusual fashion. He always has a sock on his bass guitar, but he always wears hoodies or ski mask. And, anyways, and I hope they eventually do release Black is a New Black. But for right now,
sock protection?
Huh? Yeah, it's
sock on there for protection.
I don't know. It's because nobody else does it. And it's you gotta do what you gotta do. All right, here it is. Here's a song Quilted with George Clinton off of his album Quilted Stereo.
Yeah, it's me. You see me in the airport, you see me in the streets. I always
It's padded with love, goddamn. Look at me, man, look at me. Smooth. Look at me, man, look at me. Clean. Look at me, man, look at me. Quilted. Man, look at me, man, look at me. Cool. Look at me, man, look at me. Slick. Look at me, man, look at me. Quilted. Na, na, na. Yeah. Na, na, na. Na, 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 na. Come on with it. Step on it.
And that was a clip, Quilted, from his album Quilted Stereo. It's just a little minute clip of that. You want more information on that? MonoNeon.com. Obviously, Spotify, you can go to Mono Neon as well. We only have a couple more to share with you for Soundstage.
I love that line. I love that line. He's got his name. He's got his own name on his feet. I love that.
The next is Kamasi Washington. The name of the album is called Fearless Movement. And KamasiWashington.com is his website. And if you don't know who he is actually the founding member of the jazz collective West Coast Get Down. But just on this album alone, he has George Clinton, which we're going to play another George Clinton track. George Clinton, Andre 3000. He's rap. He's just playing flute. So he's not doing the rap thing. DJ Battlecat, BJ the Chicago Kid, Thundercat. I mean, matter of fact, Kamasi played with a quartet with called the Young Jazz Giants that included Thundercat also. And of course, they obviously broke out. They all have the very, very distinct sounds and whatnot. But, Kamasi is also all over Kendrick Lamar's To Pimp a Butterfly. You probably can hear him play. Also, Thundercat is on there also. So, matter of fact, when I went to go see Thundercat here in Atlanta a couple of years ago, that's one of the things that he normally does. He always plays that little, some of the riffs and stuff that he's played on Kendrick, and it always makes everybody go nuts. But
Kamasi is amazing. I mean, if you are into lyrical, funky jazz, Kamasi, his musical style is like one of the few styles that actually seems to be like moving music forward. His album, I don't know if you ever heard it, the one from 2015, The Epic. I think that album, if it didn't win a Grammy, it was nominated for a Grammy, and it's amazing. The vocal arrangements are amazing on that. And this song that you're about to play is really cool. I love this song.
Yeah, and I think the thing that's interesting about them is that they're very they're kind of like what the Soulquarians were with, when Questlove put together the Soulquarians. It's like, he handpicked these artists that were really kind of breaking new grounds. Soulquarians were Erykah Badu and Mos Def and the Roots. And it was just like, they kind of created this whole world. Same thing that Arrested Development did back in the day. It was just like, there was just this movement, and these guys did the exact same thing. And all of those artists that are part of, this collective, which is Kamasi and Thundercat. And I mean, all these guys are just, they're kind of at the top of what they do. And they're kind of like borderline experimental.
Yes.
Because they just kind of want to take music in a new direction. I know it's really cool how they do it. And sometimes, you have to be a fan of that style because it's really loose. And a lot of times it does takes multiple listens to kind of really, grasp what's happening, because a lot of times there's a lot going on.
There's a lot.
Even in this song, this little clip I'm about to play is called Get Let, that features George Clinton and the rapper D Smoke. And it's very much the same exact type of thing where it seems like it's got a tone to it, but if you listen closely, there's a lot going on. So let's listen to this little clip from Kamasi Washington called Get Lit off this album called Fearless Movement. check it out.
She had a curse in her purse, I'm stuck in the verse with her. Body recital is vital, I go rehearse with her. Make that incision, I play nurse with her. Deep dive in the waters, maybe quench my thirst with her. And then get started on our first litter. Wait, here I come.
Don't fade away. Please find a way to stay here with us. Jesus, a light shine from you. There's some hits to be got with. You wanna get big? Let's begin to get got with. We are choosing of the light in the nighttime. About to get lit.
Flame don't lose no light by lighting another. Get lit.
That's a clip. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And it's almost to the point where this album is like, once you get done with it, the last album that happened to me was D'Angelo's Black Messiah, where you start at the beginning of it and you get to the end and you go, okay, what did I just, let me start over again. What just happened? What did I just listen to? And that's very much what Kamasi Washington is doing here. I think there's so much technical going on that it's just you just have to just take it in. Now, however, even though
you get more out of multiple listens too, if you're into it. I mean, I do think you need to be into it. But yeah,
you have to be into it, and you have to. It's not something that you can just passively listen to. It's you have to be listening because there's so many changes and so many things that happen. It's just it is what it is. All right, we got one more for you, and that is by an artist by the name of Cliff Beach. I didn't know anything about Cliff Beach at all. Rightfully so. He's not like really huge. He's based out of LA, but he is a very, very talented artist, Berkeley trained singer, songwriter, keyboardist. He currently lives in DC, and he's basically created this new style of music called New Funk, which blends soul, R&B, jazz, funk, neo soul. It's got a brand new album out right now called Beach Please. I did not hear about it. It was total surprise to me. But somebody had sent it out to me and said, you need to check this out. I guess it was one of his reps probably. And I said, this is actually not bad. It's actually pretty cool. You can get more information at cliffbeachmusic.bandcamp.com. And so we'll play this one last track from Soundstage. Here it is. Cliff Beach's song, Gotta Let You Go is the name of this track. And here it is. Here's a taste of this.
You actually make me feel, making me sick. There's something that I want to forget, but you keep coming back. Ain't that some nonsense? I'm here to let you know that it's powerful. So ever to control, gotta let you go. This thing is critical, take me literal. You make me miserable, gotta let you go. Come around like you're my best friend. I can't believe what you say, you're always lying. The things that you do don't make sense. Those I'll explain, they're not too hard to convince. You keep coming back, ain't that some nonsense? I'm here to let you know that it's powerful. Do everything to control, gotta let you go.
And that was a little clip of Gotta Let You Go by Cliff Beach. Brand new album just came out called Beach Please. Cliff, C-L-I-F-F, Beach music.bandcamp.com. cliffbeachmusic.bandcamp. There's actually is cliffbeachmusic.com, but when I went there, it looked like the information was like outdated, like it hadn't been updated in a while. but the Bandcamp stuff seemed pretty updated, and his Facebook page is also a little bit updated too. So,
And that album is available on Spotify if you have Spotify. So
I didn't. Yeah, they sent me the album, so I kind of had all the files locally, so I didn't even look to see it was there. That's cool.
yeah, and that whole album is pretty good. I mean, yeah, it's blues based, funky. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the group that sent it to me, there's a couple different groups that used to be tied in with all those guys at the Bear Creek Music Festival and stuff, which is it's defunct. It's no longer anymore. However, Code Red and some of the guys were, all those groups like Lettuce and Soul Live and the New Master Sounds and all. It's that funk collective that you see everywhere that we're starting to kind of lean more back into and support some of these guys, and definitely wanted to make sure that they got some props because that was is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And of course, the 6th track that I had on Soundstage was the one that we played from Sheila Brody had. But we've already played that earlier, so we won't play it again. But yeah, that was pretty awesome. Man, let me tell you, thank you guys so much for hanging out tonight. We had a couple other guests that were said they were going to drop in. I guess things changed, so they weren't able to come, but that's perfectly okay. There were some people that wanted to come, but weren't able to make it because they had prior commitments, but they sent their love. Michael Bland sends his love. He has a date night tonight. And then also Shelby J she had something going on family wise, so she wasn't also to make it, but Shelby J also sends her love as well. And so all that being said, it's been a pretty eventful week. Again, with the passing of Quincy Jones, rest in peace, the passing of Tyka Nelson, all this amazing stuff that we have coming down the pike. Remember, please make sure that you download the Funked Up app. Make sure you download the Funked Up app. It's very, very important that you do because you need to make sure that I didn't mean to put that back up, but you need to make sure
Tyka's watching you.
I loaded it. I wanted to. The second that you loaded it, it pops up the first one. I wanted to make sure that you guys remember that Prince-giving will be on November 21st. If you're looking at a calendar, that is a Thursday. And the reasoning for that is so that it kind of plays during that week that you're off, and it also goes through Thanksgiving and through that weekend and all the stuff, and takes you through because roughly it takes almost 9 days to get through all of his music chronologically twice. It takes about 4.5 days, which is insane. It's just insane to me. But remember that when you download the Funked Up app, which looks amazing and fantastic, by the way. And also, let me just say this too. Prince-giving will only be played for Patreon members. So it's not going to be freely available. You're not going to download that and just be able to listen. You have to be a Patreon member to get that password to be able to listen to all of Prince-giving. But there's other benefits that you get too, because you also get the ability to be able to request songs on the radio station, which is pretty friggin' cool. You can go in, you can actually request songs to play, and it will not only allow you to do that, but also tell you the time window that it's going to play in, which is pretty friggin' awesome. There's a lot of different benefits to becoming a member of Patreon. Obviously, this is one of the bigger ones, which is being able to listen to Prince-giving and then Princemas. And then, of course, we also had another one that we normally did on his birthday. We kind of mixed it. It was either his birthday or his transition day, which is what he wanted us to celebrate. So we do chronological, we do alphabetical, and then we do the live shows. So we'll see what's going to happen on Princemas, but you gotta tune in because it's pretty freaking awesome. And there it is. There's your date, November 21st at 12 p.m. Now, what that means is that there will not be shows. There will not be a Funked Up show on the 26th, which means that we only have a couple more weeks with you, and then we take a Thanksgiving break and we enjoy the music with you. So it's going to be great. Rob, thanks for joining us and hanging out with us tonight. Thank you again to Sheila Brody Head for joining us too from the Brides of Frankenstein. And that was very, very awesome to have her come in.
Yeah.
And I did see a bunch of different things that you guys had noted. The stuff with Kamala pretending to be on a phone call, that was silly. I can't believe. Did you see that? Did you see that video?
I don't think so. I don't know what we're talking about.
Oh, she pretended to be she's pretending to be on the phone with a with a voter and just yucking it up, doing this whole thing. You remember what I did when on that job with the magazine subscriptions? Same exact thing where you pretend to be on the phone with somebody. And apparently she's like laughing and cutting it up and everything. And then she's like, and she holds up her phone, say, "Hey, I'm on the phone." And when she holds up her phone, it's not on a phone call. It's not on a phone call. It's on camera. It's pretending to be on a phone call. It's like, are you serious right now? Come on, man.
That's funny.
But anyways, prayers up to you and your family. I hope everything is going to be good. No matter how this turns out, you're not going to be affected by most of the stuff they do anyways, really, to be totally honest, because nothing that they promise or nothing that they say is even going to come to fruition until the last 6 months of their, the last year of their residency, because they want to get revoted in, or they want their predecessor or their successor to be in place. It's so silly. You rarely ever see the effects of stuff. It's very, very rare, but I know some people feel some sort of way, but we'll see. It's going to be great. Now, currently, as it stands, it's I'm showing 178 Trump to 91 Harris. But again, it's all guesstimated. If you want to take one last look before we leave, we can take one last look at the map before we leave to kind of show where it's at, to kind of see. 81% of Georgia's vote is in it. It looks like Donald Trump is going to have it. He's at 51.8. But there again, that's 81% of the vote. Anything specific I should mouse over? 90% of the vote. Donald Trump has definitely won that one. He's got 56% of the vote in Florida, and 90% of the votes are in. Texas is interesting. That maybe it's not interesting. Donald Trump's apparently going to win Texas because it's 56%, 72% of the votes. It's kind of all over the map.
Pretty much expected, yeah.
Yeah, Donald Trump, this whole Minnesota thing we were talking about earlier, that's surprising that gap is where it's at. But again, there's only 3% of the vote in. So
yeah, that doesn't, yeah.
Yeah, Michigan is actually, which one I just mouse over was, Wisconsin's very, very close, 49.3 and 49.1. That's very close. That's 45% of the vote. Yeah, there you go. And all these other ones are going to start coming in. I don't think California does not close for another 40 minutes. So if you're in California and you have not voted, get out there. That's the other thing too, is that voter suppression thing is still very, very real. Do you realize that within a 1.5 mile radius of my house, there are 4 different places that I have to go to a specific location, but there are 4 locations that I can vote within a mile, literally within a mile radius of my place. But I have friends who have to drive like 5 miles just to get to one location, and it's always, packed and insane. It's just,
yeah.
crazy.
Actually, a lot of the places that we would normally vote here, they weren't open this time around. It's interesting. Yeah. So that's one of the things that's messed up about our system is each individual state controls that on a national level. It's strange.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But once again, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm your host, Mr. Christopher. This is my good buddy and friend and co-host for the night, Mr. Rob Rhythm. And we'll be back. We're going to be back next week. I'm still trying to close in like a lot of these guests that, it's just lots of scheduling conflicts and whatnot. So there may be a show or two that get pre-recorded because just scheduling, just trying to get things locked in. But God bless you for coming in and hanging out with us tonight, and just watch something else other than this, and just wake up, because even
probably not going to get decided tonight, probably not even tomorrow. Yeah.
It's going to be like way down there. They may, unless it's like a blowout, which I just don't see it happen. It's just because California has definitely got to swing to Kamala, right? I can't imagine Kamala. Yeah. I can't believe California not going to Kamala. But how many votes is California worth? It's not a lot of bunch, which is crazy because it's so big.
35 or 40 or something. I can't remember.
It's pretty big. So,
yeah,
but it's not as probably as big as it should be considering the size of it. But I don't even think it may. Surprise. Anyways, all right. Good night, everyone. I hope you had a fantastic time, and we will see you next week. Adios, amigo y amigas. We'll see you soon.